Welcome to Rewatch and Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. And today's episode is Bleach, the Bount Arc, episode 64, New School Term, Renji has come to the human world. Episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happens in the episode. So the episode begins with Ichigo waking up back at home after the end of the last arc, and his dad comes through the window to try to fight him, which ultimately ends up failing. They're then called to breakfast where his sisters are there, and they start talking about their summer homework as they are about to go back to school. And Ichigo gets distracted thinking about the past that he just spent in Soul Society, which leaves him open to his dad managing to land an attack. And then, the dad boasts about how he's still not able to beat his old man. And they then go to school. At school, of course, everyone else is there as well. And Renji then decides to dress like the 70s, come into the schoolyard and start yelling for Ichigo to come out. And eventually the embarrassment gets to the point where Ichigo sprints to him outside and basically scolds Renji for coming and making a scene at the school in his false body that he has been given by Urahara, who he is staying with. And then a hollow attacks, and Renji has a hard time getting out of the body he's in, so Ichigo ends up using his substitute Shinigami pass to kill that hollow. We then get a little bit of self-deprecation from Sato and Inoue, who both felt like they didn't do enough when they were in Soul Society. And they start to practice a little bit before, going their separate ways. And we ultimately end up with, after a few slice of life moments, Inoue dreaming about a time with her brother when she made a snow rabbit while she was waiting for him to come home. And then he helps her make a snow orihime to go with the snow brother. And then she wakes up, and who should be at the door but seemingly her brother, who she ends up having a conversation with, letting her guard down. And then the brother basically leads her to her, I can't remember if it was a window or a door. I didn't pick up on the small details, to be fair. Anyways, to either a window or a door, where outside large skeletal gates appear, but they are different from the gates to hell that we had seen in a previous episode. These are new skeletal gates. And Inoue ends up being sent through them just as Renji and Ichigo arrive, who had sensed her being in danger. And the episode then ends on three mysterious figures silhouetted in the dark. I'm not going to count this as their introduction episode because it's literally silhouettes in the dark. Most likely I'll append their introduction to the next episode. But that's what happened. So now that we've seen what happened, or, well, not seen, but now that we have no, I don't know what I'm saying today. Now that we have summarized the episode, it is now time to rank the episode. First on the mostly objective ranking list, followed by the personal ranking list. And it starts with a multi-arc supporting character development. That's Renji being assigned to Ichigo's town as the new resident Shinigami. And when Ichigo makes fun of him for potentially being demoted, Renji assures him that he has not been demoted, but because people like him are just casually leaking their spirit force, the hollows and mysterious happenings are a lot stronger in the town, and that's why they decided to put a lieutenant in charge of it. At least that's what Renji says. And then we have our multi-arc main character development, which is Inoue being visited by her brother before being lured through the skeletal gates. And then the world-building piece is the fact that there are now skeletal gates that are different from the Hell Gates. That brings us up to 11 points, but we do have some negative messaging or behavior, and that, of course, is the fact that Inoue has been kidnapped. And kidnapping, regardless of the reason, is never a good thing. And so I took 2 points for it, which brings this episode to a 9 out of 10. And that then means on our mostly objective ranking that new school term, Renji has come to the human world, is in first. New school term, Renji has come to the human world, is also first and only on the personal ranking so far. So for me, I do like the slice of life episodes. I do like when there's more comedy, less stakes. I think that that's a fun episode and kind of um, pure entertainment value without, the need for the adrenaline or excitement or other things like that. We got a couple of battles. We got everybody kind of refinding their baseline. And then at the end of the episode, we have things starting again with Inoue's kidnapping. I thought that there was a lot of funny moments in the episode. I thought some of the slice of life scenes were amusing. I think Inoue actually had some self-awareness for a change in that she did realize she was pretty much useless. And even Sato also was a little bit useless in Soul Society. He had like one battle and he lost it miserably. Inoue really wasn't able to do much, but she did cause a little bit of trouble, so she was self-aware of that, and I like that she's got at least a little bit of self-awareness. I still think her and Ichigo should not be a couple. I think Ichigo should be with Rukia, but that is my personal opinion. Um, but Inoue does have a little bit of an obsession with him, so usually if the not so bright characters are obsessed with the male character, they usually end up as the female lead, so to speak, so it's a bit disappointing. Either way, that's not really relevant to this specific episode, more the series as a whole. Though I haven't seen some of the more recent episodes, like the new series that came out. Um, so I don't know if anybody actually ends up with anybody. Usually Shonen stays away from, a lot of the romance. It's more like implied if it's there at all. So I don't even know why I'm on that tangent. Like I said, it's not really to do with this episode specifically. Um, Either way, like I said, I liked all the slice of life moments. I liked returning to a baseline. I thought it was very entertaining and there was strong entertainment value, even if there wasn't a lot of action or high stakes in it. And then I did like that at the end of the episode, we're starting to get back into, you know, a storyline with more high stakes. So overall, I gave it an 8 out of 10. And that now, of course, brings us to the series rankings. And both my mostly objective and personal um, feelings are aligned, it would seem, because in first place we have Soul Society the Rescue arc, followed in second by Agent of the Shinigami arc, and then in third, Soul Society the Sneak Entry arc. On our mostly objective ranking, the Bount arc currently has 9 out of 280, and on the personal ranking, we have 8 out of 280. But with that, we've now rewatched and ranked Bleach, the Bount arc, episode 64, New School Term, Renji has come to the human world. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode. Actually, before that, I forgot to mention on my personal ranking, but one thing I'm not, like, of all the Shinigami that we met that could have come to the human world, Renji honestly wasn't my favorite. I would have preferred probably one of the other ones to come in, maybe like Ikaku and Yumachika, which I know do come eventually, but yeah, I forgot to mention that is also contributing to the 8 out of 10. Anyways, like I said, see you in the next episode.